fuck?
Yeah, don't you dare touch that link anywhere else to go any other page, because finally your life has meaning. It is a glorious Saturday, and you already know what it is. It's 12 p.m., a little bit afterward, but it's time for that Smackdown review show. Listen, first of all, Cardi B set the internet on fire with that fire video she had, Body is Banging. And then The Rock said, you know what? I got time today. I see what Cardi B did. She done set the internet off. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set the internet off too. The man goes on a 21-minute rant. I said, man, it was bad. Oh, God, it was so bad. And bad and good. Because, you know, when black people, we say something bad, something's bad, it's good. So I'm looking, and Mike calls me, he goes, did you just hear what The Rock said? And I'm like, I skimmed my timeline. I didn't know it was a 21-minute rant, though. But I was like, no. He was like, stop what you're doing. You got to listen to it right now. Man, listen, I had to take a drink break. He was spitting hot fire, man. He was spitting hot fire. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Smackdown Review Show. I am your host, the Z is Silent, and I am joined today by my guy, Vic. How has your week been, my brother?
It was good. A little sad.
Yeah, rest in peace to Virgil. Shout out to the $1 million championship sitting on your shoulder.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we started.
Anybody that's a real wrestling fan has seen Virgil that somehow, and unfortunately, took a picture with the $1 million championship because you felt bad for him. But still, man, it was sad. You know what I mean? Like, that guy was a good guy. Shout out to him.
We lost Virgil, and then we lost.
Let's get back to The Rock, because that was crazy.
We lost Virgil and we lost Ole Anderson. But as soon as I seen, I got them
man.
Yeah, rest in peace to Ole Anderson. As soon as I saw the promo by The Rock that he cut on Instagram, and shout out to his team for chopping that up and giving you very good reference points. And I thought that was very important during his soliloquy, because a lot of people are forgetting the small tidbits. A lot of people are forgetting the small tidbits of the storyline, and they're just wanting what they want, right? And so The Rock literally has to do what most of us intelligent wrestling fans, shout out to Mr. Mike Knox for coining the term, most of what we know, it's all about your cadence. It's all about your verbiage. It's all about those small things in the background that you don't pay attention to. But then when that video package comes and the people are like, why? You'll know why, because they'll refer back to that. But I wanted to bring that up because Rock told you guys from the beginning, from the time that Roman Reigns said that he was the head of the table, the tribal chief, the stones were already lining up to go in place. Everybody knew this. You knew it, but why do you not want it now? I don't understand. Like, it makes no sense. And for The Rock to go off like this and tell the fans it makes no sense of why you're going off like this, right? Like, the one thing that you can't do is you can't fight Father Time. Father Time is undefeated. The Rock knows that he can't wrestle forever, right? And we don't want a shell of The Rock. So if we can still get The Rock in some sort of good shape, and he looks to be in phenomenal shape, take it as it is. I don't want to see The Rock try to do a rock bottom and barely have to lift somebody up. I mean, I saw Ric Flair try to give the Young Bucks some chops, and those chops were terrible.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
Wait a minute now. You can't put Ric Flair and The Rock in the same boat. If anybody honestly, I see The Rock coming in like Billy Gunn, Now,
Billy Gunn is jacked at
he's gonna
what 60 now. He's looks phenomenal,
yeah, bro.
phenomenal.
I mean, he's a perfect example of somebody that is up there and can still go in the ring. Bobby Lashley is another one. Everybody forgets that because he don't crack at all. But
He's 46 years old and still looking like he's 20. In which
bro.
20,
The thing
if I'm
is
not
that
mistaken.
The Rock he's in his early 50s. You know what I mean? So
if I'm not mistaken, Bobby Lashley is coming up on 20 years in WWE, so I think that they'll be celebrating that a little bit later on this year. So
yeah, I mean, they should. Look, I think he's the only one left that was an ECW champion. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this guy has been doing. He wrestled like with Donald Trump, like at WrestleMania.
He was in Donald Trump's corner versus Umaga.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? The guy's been around, bro. He's probably done more WrestleManias than anybody else, except for maybe R-Truth. You know what I'm saying? But straight up.
Orton's up there. Orton's got a lot. Orton got a lot. Hi, Charmaine. Yeah, Orton's definitely got a lot. So let's get into the actual show of SmackDown, in which SmackDown starts at 8:00, right? It took Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns didn't get in the ring until like 8:08. It took the man damn near.
I mean, you know what? He earned that when he beat the Undertaker.
True. This is true.
You know what I mean? He earned that. Like, nobody else has that. Not even Cody Rhodes.
But Cody Rhodes has double pyro. So
yeah, but he don't got this long-winded thing. The only other person that ever had this long-winded thing was the Undertaker, and now Roman Reigns. Nobody else does this. This whole long-winded thing, the slow walk to the ring, this whole presence, this whole okay, give me the belt now. Let me press it up. Let me give it back to you, and let's walk slow to the ring, and then let's have everybody acknowledge. Like, it's this whole fucking thing. You know what I mean? You never see Roman Reigns come out to the ring like running out and jumping in, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's always a thing.
It still baffles me, or maybe I'm just nitpicking here, right? Rock has already aligned himself with the bloodline, clearly, but he still doesn't come out with them. And I can't recall off the top of my head any group that literally every member doesn't come out except for one. Like, I don't in every entrance, and this is now the second week, right? And I just think that's something there. I think that's something there that Rock is still saying, I'm still the Rock. I'm bigger than you guys. I'm bigger than the bloodline. Give me my own entrance. But we started off with Roman doing his acknowledge me, right? And he's getting pissed off because it's not loud. It's not as loud as he wants it to be, right? Which is straight asshole-ish, and I loved every single minute of it for him to keep asking them to acknowledge him.
I mean, I think that it portrayed somehow like the king is nervous of his powers being taken away. I think that's kind of what they were trying to portray, because with that, you also see how like upset he's getting when they're mentioning The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like you can see that there's like a little bit of jealousy there. So there's this whole idea of announcing them separately. It's kind of like, listen, you're never going to be the people's champ,
right?
You know what I mean? And you sitting here trying to get the people on your side, but you're not going to be the people's champ. And people's champ went out there and trashed the crowd and still got a bigger pop. You know
it's nobody. I think, you know what? It's like those cuckold guys that they want to be tortured. They want to be made fun of. They want to be insulted. It's a term of endearment at this point. If The Rock goes out there and calls you trailer trash, but he didn't just call him trailer trash this time. He one-upped it and said,
I agree. I mean, it's a lot like when Miz goes, when my hand goes up, everybody says, "Your mouth, coach." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. That's exactly how it is because I ain't gonna lie, somebody come to my city and you call me a cokehead and a meth head, like I'm highly offended.
mhm,
I'm highly offended. I
mhm,
know you can't do that, but again,
even in.
in the words of Daniel Bryan, fans are fickle,
Mm-hmm.
fickle,
Mm-hmm.
fickle fans, and so they live for it. But then Rock comes out and he goes on to pretty much, I guess, confirm what the rumors were in a sense of the tag match that everybody's been, talking about and speculating about. And the monkey wrench that he threw into it wasn't just a normal tag match. It wasn't going to be he threw stipulations on there that made it more interesting, more intriguing, in which I thought was genius, right?
Oh,
And
there's a ton of sizzle on that steak.
a lot, a lot. So he goes, you know, if you can beat, if Cody and Seth can beat Rock and Roman, Cody gets a one-on-one, no involvement from the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And if Rock and Roman beat Seth and Cody, it's bloodline rules. It's literally bloodline rules, and in which this in which he's going off at examples of what could happen in a bloodline rules match should be what we deemed as tribal combat, right? This should be tribal combat because this is what this has all of your members of your bloodline that could be in some sort of capacity, right? Like you could have a special guest referee. He might be on commentary. Paul Heyman might be sliding the chair into somebody. Jimmy Uso might be a tag partner. Solo might be a special enforcer. Like the possibilities are endless in which they left this so open-ended. I thought it was genius. Your thoughts on what Rock gave the stipulation to Cody and Seth?
No, like I said before, I think I added a lot of sizzle to that steak because it, you add parameters to the situation, like, oh, this can happen and this can happen, and it's literally a situation of happening the next night. Like you don't know. It's very difficult to predict this whole situation. Like, and the craziest thing that I could see that I would, okay, as a wrestling fan, what I would want to happen is for Seth Rollins to turn on Cody Rhodes and do it like a Dakota Kai situation. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, Seth Rollins is part of the whole thing, and like you have on night two, you just have this fucking free for all where half of the fucking locker room comes out to help Cody Rhodes, and then Cody Rhodes wins the title, and they hold him up like they did Bret Hart at
Oh,
WrestleMania. You know what I mean? And they do this whole fucking thing where they finally took the title off of Roman, and it was this all hands on deck thing. You know what I mean? That's what I personally would want to see, like for storyline purposes. But I think it's going to be a situation where the Rock turns on Roman, and then they continue on with tribal combat. And then night two, it's just one on one with the great one type shit. And Cody Rhodes gets his moment in the sun. And the thing is, it the only thing that I don't like about it, but do like about it, is that it's very predictable. However, I think that this match can be predictable. I think that it's allowed with because look, the video game, everything, finish the story. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things that the fans want to see at this point. So, what's the best way that they can give it to us? And I personally think what they're doing is good. It's good.
I will say
Queens in
that
the yeah,
while it is predictable, right? It's the open endedness of it being predictable is the key to it, right? Because let's just say for some
mm-hmm,
reason, Cody does get his way and his stipulation is no bloodline. Okay, that's
mm-hmm,
cool. But now let's not forget, we got the rumor or the report that Toma is coming to WWE. Those families of Tongan and Samoan are very close. So bless you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thank you.
while he may not be Samoan, he still has ties to the Samoans because of the close knitly family. So he could easily come, debut, cost Cody, and there you go. Technically, he's not bloodline, but then he'll be initiated in the bloodline. So I get that. That's kind of,
but it don't gotta be blood to be family. That's
you don't
how
have to be blood to be family. Dom
the
told us that in Fast and Furious.
the tribal thing with the Polynesians, like it's about like the community type shit.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't necessarily mean just blood all the time. Like, and, that's why like Samoa Joe gets thrown in the mix all the time, but everybody's like, nah, chill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wanted to go in this, right? Saying that I want to know, Scott, who do you think deserves to be there as getting their spot taken away from them? Regardless, that spot is still there. There's still a championship match, right? Like, it's Mania. Like, you have to make sure that you get it's like going to the Pro Bowl. You want your best stars, if they're available, to be there, if they have the numbers. So if you want to, let's say the numbers are somebody's story, their intrigue, their interests, right? If I don't care if somebody who hasn't been seen but is a good wrestler isn't on there, because it sucks, because I haven't had an interest in them in the past 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, or a year.
Wait a minute. Who they taking away from?
That's what they throw in. That's what they throw in the battle royal, right?
But who they taking away from if the show's starting earlier?
Well, that's what I was asking. Who would it be that if they're taking it away, and that's already a slated match? So, we're predicting probably about like 6 to 7 matches per night. Probably that's an increase from usual manias. I think usual manias are about 8 matches, maybe, and 8 matches is like 4 hours. So, I think that I think this is fine to say that Rock doesn't deserve to be there. In which that's what Seth Rollins said, right? He doesn't deserve to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be where you are on a WrestleMania card if it wasn't for The Rock. So to say something that outlandish, I thought Seth was bugging. He was bugging out, right? He's bugging out. Captain Shea says The Rock has been a little bro and Roman for weeks now. Yeah, he absolutely has. He absolutely has, and he's playing him with this acknowledgement. Like because it's all about the verbiage. He said, "My family." He initially made it to say, "My family," so he acknowledges his family. Mm-hmm. And he threw Roman Reigns in the back end of it, but family. Rock is always about family. So I will say that I think that verbiage in that is the is the foot on the neck of that situation. You're right. Only diehard fans know who he is. Again, I'm not jumping off the couches screaming off rooftops for him. He's 41. I don't see him being in WWE very long, but this is one of those things where it's just say, if you're as big as you think you are, you're not big until you get to go to WWE and possibly compete at a WrestleMania. It is what it is. Nobody's looking to get in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. If there is a Canadian Football Hall of Fame, you want to go in the NFL Hall of Fame. So that's basically what it is. The passing of the torch. If that's the case, why are we still having Ring of Honors for football and basketball teams? They will always get a pop. So that's a great point, Captain. I wanted the thing that I wanted to also bring up during the Rock's Instagram post is the backstage camera work, right? Because he mentioned what he said to Cody, in which I thought that we should have got what Rock said to Cody from Cody, but Rock spilled the beans, and we can see backstage before the press conference, the WrestleMania kickoff press conference, they had a hug looks like it was a positive conversation, a hug, a handshake, few smiles, and everything was all good. The issue that I had with that now looking back after seeing that is Cody comes out there and says, this right here is bullshit. How? He never explained how it was bullshit because it's something that you agreed upon. Even his lecture at the conference, it didn't make much sense because it didn't give us a why. You already declined your spot.
The thing is that he was literally just repeating what the internet wrestling community was saying. This is bullshit. And that's why it hit hard. You know what I mean? That whole production was genius because, and mind you, I think it was genius because of the amount of time that they had to come up with it too, because, you know, considering the situation that they're in with people injured and stories changing, they had to figure out what to do. They had this whole plan in place, but now they had to steer a different direction. And you know, they executed greatly because the truth is that what I like about it and what I always love about wrestling is that it's still a big question mark as to what's going to happen.
Yeah. And people, it's scripted. It's scripted. Yeah, it's scripted.
It has to be scripted.
Most even reality television is scripted. Like, I think at this point,
could you have wrestling if people were actually hitting each other and doing it? Could you have these wrestlers perform these things 3-4 nights of the week? No, like Floyd Mayweather can't fight 4 fights in a week. You know what I mean? They need time to recover. You don't have in wrestling, it's entertainment, of course. Like it has to be fake, or else people are really gonna get hurt. You know what I mean? Like that's why they say don't try this at home. When people are doing slams, you have somebody holding the other guy's head to protect him. Like, hello, they're putting on a show. Anyway, I could rant about that all day.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are just scratching the surface of this show. You guys are really dope in the chat. I want y'all to stay tuned with us. We're about to take a quick commercial break. We're going to get back into where we see this is going for Cody's response, Seth's response, and we're going to get into the rest of the Smackdown card, which I would not want to have followed anything that the Bloodline had to be on my screen for 40 minutes, and then I got to go out and wrestle a match. I wouldn't want to be anybody on this card, including Randy Orton in the main event. Y'all watching the Smackdown review show. Stay tuned.
Last time on UPR Shorts. You're looking it up, huh?
I'm looking at micro wrestling. I'm looking at micro wrestling. Oh my God. Oh, ooh. Chris, you gotta hold on a second. We gotta watch this shit. Chris, we gotta do a review show on this fucking show, Chris, please.
Is it on TV? Do they have a TV deal?
Yes,
oh, really?
they do. Oh, Chris,
free coupon,
please. Free coupon. Chris, look at this. Even the referee is a little guy. Oh, God, Chris, look at this. Oh, my God, I love it. Oh, she slapped that shit out. Oh, look at this. Wow, look at this. High flying action.
I mean,
look at that guy.
High flying.
Watch this. Watch this big guy that's coming up. Look at this guy. Oh, he died.
The big boot, huh?
Oh, Chris, this is the greatest. This is the greatest.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Oh, he just killed that man.
Look at that. He did that. Look at that second rope moonsault. Look at the ref. He must go to the same ref school as Aubrey Edwards. Holy shit. Chris, can we just do a review on this?
There's no television.
Oh my God, please.
You can ask somebody in the chat if they want to do this review with you, okay?
I'm crying right now. I'm crying right now, yo.
Oh my God!
Shout out to Zach and the Consulting and Steve for that. They're trying to decide if they're gonna do micro wrestling reviews. I can't. The big dude that fell off.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm down to do that because you know what, and my wife makes fun of me for this. You ever seen like Little Women Atlanta?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so entertained by these people. Like these little girls just fighting. These, you know what I mean? Like they're all old, but they're just fighting, and you see the little arms wailing and all this shit. Like it's just hilarious. So I'm down to see this micro wrestling. So Steve, I got you because that shit is funny. I'm sorry.
So unfortunately, following the bloodline segment, in which they definitely went over time. Oh, I'm literally wiping tears away.
I was mad behind this match.
A lot of people were so pissed off at this, and I'm not even gonna lie. As soon as I saw Tiffany Stratton, we saw the back end of Tiffany Stratton's entrance. So I'm like, oh, so who she's about to face? And I'm like, who's her opponent? Her opponent's Naomi already in the ring. You mean to tell me you got Naomi with this fire entrance and she doesn't even make TV time? Immediately as I saw this, I along with most of the internet wrestling community, I was not a fan of this. You have Naomi come back,
but I wasn't a fan of it either. Like it was sad to see Naomi as a jobber right now because she just can't. Like, mind you, these two literally debuted on Smackdown, like together, got their contracts together in that segment and all of that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if that had anything to do with this. I'm sure that Naomi's time got cut because, you know, she's established already, and The Rock took a long time talking, right? But it's Tiffy time. It's Tiffy time. So at the same time, like I respect Naomi for doing the job because, you know, like she's the hot thing right now. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I wish that Tiffany Stratton would have just fought somebody from NXT if they were going to do that.
I mean, there's plenty of other women on NXT or on SmackDown roster that they could have done this with. I get it, but I thought that Naomi's comeback since the Rumble, she's had a pretty good showing, a respectable showing, right? And I see a lot of people on the internet and, you know, giving her they're giving her the natty treatment. They're giving her the natty treatment. The thing is,
I mean, but here's the problem, bro. She don't got mic skills, just like Natty, and everybody gets tight. But she don't got mic skills, bro. Naomi,
you know the thing with Naomi and her mic skills is she can't play. I don't think that Naomi can play a character, right? I think that she is what Bianca Belair is on the microphone. I think that's what they would have wanted for Naomi, right? Like
Naomi is Kofi Kingston, bro.
Yeah. Kofi is a good ad libber with the New Day. I think that's why his promos do get over. Even his promo work after he won the championship from Daniel Bryan, I thought his mic work was pretty respectable. I thought it was good. I thought his mic work versus Randy Orton in both feuds that they had, the one in 2011 and was it 2020? I thought his mic work was amazing. So he's definitely, if you can pull it out, if you get the right person to pull it out of you, you definitely can get it done. But to compare Naomi to Natty, I thought was disrespectful in a sense for both women because they're two different women. Natty's been in WWE for 15 years. I mean, she's had her moments. I'd like for her to get one more run. That's just me being a Natty fan. I personally think that Natty is the best all around woman wrestler in the ring. Mike would like to argue Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte Flair is dope too. Asuka's in there, and as recently, Bayley is quickly becoming. She's inching up there for me.
There's always going to be the need for certain people that aren't necessarily at the top, but can do top work. Natty, Dolph Ziggler, Naomi, things like that, and they're helping the younger crowd. Because my main issue with this is just that Naomi just came back.
Yeah.
Right. So let Natty And Natty gets a lot of rub from Bret Hart and her father and the Hart Foundation and all of that. So she's a part of history, right? But the reality is that she helps everybody. She puts everybody over. The only other person that did that was Alicia Fox. You know what I mean? And when I met her, I thanked her for that. And there's always going to be a need for that, especially when somebody's shiny and new. And it's Tiffy time. But my main point is just that Tiffany Stratton got more mic skills. What, in my opinion, what Naomi needs, she needs a Bayley level change. Like, you see how Bayley, it was unbelievable because Bayley was like John Cena. Like, it was unbelievable when she turned heel.
Yeah.
But mind you, the group is there for her to do it. Like, if Naomi comes out of nowhere and does some bloodline shit, I would pop like fucking like when Stone Cold was around, because I've been wanting to see her do bad things for a long time. Mind you, I'm mad that they got rid of her heel music. I'm amazing. That was when she was bad and Team Bad and trying that shit, but it didn't work out because it's not her. You know what I mean? She's a nice girl. She's a good girl.
Yeah. This is well, her theme now is more reminiscent of her TNA Impact, which I think is still great, and it sounds like her on the vocals. So I thought it was pretty dope. Chris,
and that's another reason. That's another reason why I'm mad, because she has a fan base from TNA.
Yeah,
they should capitalize on that.
That is an unfortunate stat for Bayley. However, the stat that pokes out the most in my argument for Bayley being in the top 3, top 4 greatest women's wrestlers is the fact that she's a Grand Slam champ twice over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a stat that nobody thinks about or they even take into a credit when we're talking about Bayley and where she ranks. So many people want to put the emphasis on Sasha Banks sometimes because she did the job for Belair, but if you want to think about it, Bayley has done so many jobs for so many people so effortlessly, and she wants to do it. And as opposed to what seems or what the rumors or stories are that Sasha is me. So I think that should be taken in credit. But this match, very quick, very sloppy. Anybody seen any show that I've done reviewing women's matches, I will tell you that by now my pet peeve is when I can visually see you counting steps. And that's a credit to not having chemistry. And you can definitely tell, even though Naomi may have been calling the match because the camera called her a couple times telling Tiffy spots. You can't make me think that you're running when you're tiptoeing, and you're still tiptoeing as you're approaching your opponent. At that point, you should just be walking up to him and trying to, I guess she's trying to give Tiffy time to react, but those things that are big pet peeves of mine. But obviously things like that are going to come with chemistry. They probably were thrown off with the time limit that they had, knowing that the bloodline just went 40 minutes of TV time. So that I just thought the match was too quick. It was very sloppy. I'm pretty sure we'll see these women down the road facing off again. Any thoughts on Naomi and Tiffy time?
Well, what I liked about that match is that Naomi showed off her athleticism, because that's what she's always been known for, right? And she's the veteran in the ring, and she got to show off a little bit of her athleticism. But like I said, I didn't like that fact that she job. But then at the same time, it's Tiffy time. She's the shiny thing, and she has to learn, right? So. And because the truth is that Tiffany Stratton has not been doing this for a long time. Her man,
she's only 24.
Ludwig Kaiser. Yeah, her man Ludwig Kaiser, he's been doing this longer, and then he's helping her, and he's like shocked that she's basically gotten further than him in such a short amount of time. But then let's be honest, like she's some of the best eye candy that we have. of the women's division, and she fits that role. She definitely fits that role that Mandy Rose hit really hard. A long time ago before she got ousted. But there's always going to be a demographic for that. I mean, look at her ring gear. It looks like she's in lingerie all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and the truth is that most of the people are not necessarily checking out her spots. You feel me? They're checking out everything else. So it's Tiffy time because she has the charisma. That's the one thing that I definitely see in her. And she's smart enough to know what to say in order to piss people off. And I think that makes her a really good character. But anyway, I'm rambling too much. Let's go to the next match because
yeah. So the next match we got is something that I personally was super excited for. I was actually on Xbox in the chat with Mike, and we were watching wrestling as we always do together, and I was super pumped for this. I absolutely love all four of these women. I love Damage Control. I am a big King Coda fan. I think that she has it. She's a beautiful woman. She's small. But like we talk about size of women, she's just as small as Zelina Vega, but she can wrestle much better than Zelina Vega. But Bailey, I'm a huge Bailey fan. BT Dub, I love you, Pamela Martinez. Kabuki Warriors, Kabuki Warriors are fire. They've been fire since Paige was their manager when she first formed them. They are fire. Yes, Mike. Ever. Yes, Mike. Ever. I would love to debate that with you. Ever. Yeah, I'm there. Yeah. Because as many times as Charlotte has held the belt, she's lost it just as much. Just saying. Bailey versus Tiffy time. It would be dope in like a year, in my opinion. But
probably. I mean, that might happen by SummerSlam.
Okay. That's it could happen.
Unless it's Bailey versus Kai or something. You know what I mean?
I'm not even going to argue that because that could definitely happen because Tiffy is being booked very, very strong. However, it looks like Bailey's going to come out the other side of this thing pretty strong, right? Like she has to take down Damage Control, right? She has to, like, her run as a heel has it's ran its course. I think fans kind of knew that it's ran its course, but she did what she wanted to do. She bought in King Coda, she bought in Io Sky, right? And wanted to elevate these ladies as stars.
Which she did.
And she did. Granted, King Coda wasn't active very long, but she has elevated every single woman in Damage Control. And even Asuka, in a sense, kind of got stale with what she was doing with Belair. Not saying that it was bad. It was just typical Asuka. So for Asuka to turn and join Damage Control, I thought chef's kiss. It's something new for Asuka, right? And then you bring back Kairi Sane, who didn't technically really want to leave anyway, but she did and handle some things over in her homeland. So, and she's back and she still looks strong as when she left. And she looks dangerous. That was the one knock that I had. Yeah. That was the one knock that I had on her, is that she didn't look dangerous because she came out here with the Captain Sailor goofy shit, right? Facts. But now she's much more serious, seems much more dangerous. But to get into this match, this match barely gets underway, and we get she left King Coda, my baby King Coda left Pamela Martinez high and dry. She left her high and dry, and at that point, the match didn't even matter. I don't even think that they rung the bell to stop the match. I don't remember that they rung the bell to stop the match, but all the ladies just kind of embarrass Bailey and give her that one shot where they give her the shot where, she's struggling and The champ's got the belt in her face. One of the most iconic shots that you can do as a champion challenger, which I thought was a good look. But all in all, I'm upset that the match never really got started, but I'm not upset about where this goes. And I think I'm more excited for where it goes. Your thoughts on the match and segment with Damage Control?
Well, the whole thing felt predictable from the beginning. And I think that's how they try to make it seem. When it comes to this, I think that this was put together at last minute because they probably had other plans. There was a time where all of a sudden they were pursuing getting all the gold, which is something that they could have done. But the truth is, I think that Io Sky had a much better run as a champion in NXT. I don't know if splitting them apart is going to help them, but in that situation, it's basically they're just like putting all the Asians together, and we don't necessarily.
I'm fine with that. If they putting all the Mexicans together, put the Asians together too. Put the Japanese, Chinese, Lebanese. Oh yeah.
So the bottom line is that look, Asuka really has no direction. Asuka was basically Charlotte Flair's toughest opponent, Becky Lynch's toughest opponent.
Yeah.
And now that booking is gone. Who knows where it is that they're going to go, but I feel like they put her as a tag team champion to keep her strong because they don't have anything for her. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what it looks like, at least from the outside looking in. I think that Bayley's going to win this championship and then is going to have her moment in the sun and then fight the girls from Damage Control. But then what happens after that? I don't know what the future looks like for Dakota Kai outside of a match with Bayley. I don't know what the future looks like for the rest of Damage Control outside of a feud with Bayley. If they kept them together and continue fighting with other people, then possibly, and do like a female bloodline type of thing. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with them. And hopefully the booking is good. But all I see coming here is just Bayley winning the championship and, having that feel good moment of the night, whether it's night one or night two. It seems like it's going to be night one.
Off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure we have gotten the Bayley versus Asuka, but in this sense, Bayley versus Asuka is very intriguing to me. Very intriguing. I think that if Bayley wins the belt at WrestleMania, that Asuka would be her biggest opponent out of Damage Control. And I would be all for that. We haven't had a heel Asuka, and we haven't had a face Bayley in so long. And I think the Bayley's just going to ride this face wave, and she deserves it. She deserves the face wave. So I'm absolutely fine with them keeping and if you want to keep Dakota Kai, in Damage Control as it stands as the mouthpiece, that's 100% fine. That's cool. They can still do their promos with the subtitles like they do Shinsuke Nakamura. That's cool. And
I like that. I think that's cool. That made it look really strong.
If they do that I think that is absolutely fine. It's just that you don't want to. I think that in the case of those women, you don't want to do too much too fast, and then leave these ladies pretty much with nowhere to go or nothing to do. That's the biggest issue that you don't want to have. And I feel like you can easily make that mistake by thinking something is so white hot that, oh yeah, all these women are over. Let's go ahead and let them go somewhere else or break off and do their own thing. And no, I don't think that these ladies necessarily break up until the next draft. So they'll be aligned with each other in some capacity until the next draft, which is again still fine. But after the match, we see LA Knight is still searching for AJ Styles with the same chair that he busted him up with at Elimination Chamber. And we get this shot. Lord, the back on Jake. Woo! Jay Cargill just towering over Damage Control. Look how much taller she is than all of them. And the look on King Coda's face here, like, look, she looking like, oh shit, they're fucked up, right? Like, this is a great tease though. This is a great tease because we still don't have anything for Jade yet. And if and I don't think that a tag match is necessarily a bad thing for Jade to debut at WrestleMania in a match, right? I don't think that's a bad thing. It's a very protected match. It's a match that can easily she can have her moments, she can have her spots, and she can still be safe.
I'll tell you one thing. Jade Cargill is a testament to AEW because so far it's been the other way around, where somebody comes in and everybody's hyped about it. Prior to AEW, nobody knew who Jade Cargill was,
but she got over with her look more so than her ring skills, which is the reason why she needed so much time after the announcement of the signing.
Yeah, but the point is just that if there were no AEW, we wouldn't know who. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's all of a sudden, like for example, like if MJF were to show up in WWE, he'd get a huge pop, just the way that AJ Styles did. So, like, it's a testament to them because they built this. She built her name there, and everybody knows who she is because of that space.
Yeah.
And now, what they do with her, we'll see. It should be amazing. But in my opinion, like, that's a testament to AEW because, for a long time, ever since, Chris Jericho's the first one. It's just been the other way around. And this woman, she has a presence. She has influence. She's got the it factor, there's certain things that she needs.
I like the idea here. I like the idea of Kabuki Warriors versus Belair and Jade, right? I do. But the problem is like, if I think they're too similar in attitude, but I also think that like Naomi should be in that conversation somewhere. And Kervin says Jade, Bianca, Naomi versus Io, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. I think that's a dope match. I think that's a dope match.
I think it should just be Jade and Bianca, not Naomi. I don't think you should add Naomi. And here's the thing. All right, they want to put Jade, Bianca, and Naomi together because everybody's black. I get that. The reason why I say
you can't say that when everybody's Chinese or Japanese in Damage Control.
Of course, no, but I get that. But my whole thing with this is just that Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, they're very similar. They're powerhouses, right? So they're like the natural disasters, just pretty and fit. You know what I mean? They are very, very similar. So they can do things. They can do something together that would be amazing as a tag team, as maybe even the tag team champions. I don't think I've ever seen Bianca Belair with another belt outside of the top belt, right? So I think it'll be a perfect time. I think it's perfect for them to do something like that and to showcase them that way. And Naomi's a veteran already. You know what I mean? Like, she's already. Honestly, if it were a situation where Naomi were managing them the way that Bobby Lashley is managing the Street Profits, oh man, then I'm here for it.
The problem with that is Bobby Lashley. They're on TV 1 week, they're off the next. Like,
because Bobby Lashley got no leg skills. We all know Bobby Lashley needs MVP. Everybody sees that. Everybody knows that. Come on, man. We know that. We need to put him together with Omos. We've been saying that for weeks. Bobby Lashley got no many skills. It's all athletic ability. Same thing with Naomi. You know what I mean? But if she were to all of a sudden get on that mic and start talking that crap with Bianca Belair and Jake, oh man. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Continue.
No, you're good. I want to get into this comment real quick before we take our last break to finish up the show. Curvin says the only rumors are Bianca versus Tiffany and Jade versus Nia Jax, which are really good matches and really good rumors, right? But with the card potentially to be so stacked, I don't know if I see WWE going in a direction to have so many women's matches. I think they probably will cap it at 4.
Wait,
maybe they make it to a pre-show.
Time the show's gonna end?
What's that?
Does anybody know what time the show's gonna end?
No, I know they're starting it like an hour early though.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I would expect 11. I would expect 11.
I'll be honest with you. I think this is about as predictable as Vince McMahon jumping in the ring and fighting Pat McAfee. You know what I mean? They're going to do a lot. It's 40. They're going to do a lot. You know what I mean?
I get it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to take our last break. Before we get into the rest of the night, we got Braun Breaker making his SmackDown debut. And then we got Carlito versus Santos Escobar in a street fight. And then the main event, Randy Orton versus Austin Theory, in which shout out to both men who avoided a botch moment. We'll get right into that after these quick words from the Mike Knox Show. Stay tuned.
Let's extend on your feet right now for my man AJ Francis. Another question that came across in the chat and everything else is, we know where you've been. We know where you're trying to go. Do you see yourself crossing paths with you-know-who, Mr. Swerve Strickland? And if so,
if the money right, I mean, Swerve
to
got
work
some
with
shit
or to work with or to go after?
Nah, if me and Swerve gonna do something, it's gonna be against each other.
Okay.
It's too much. It's too much money in that, and I'm not playing second banana to nobody anymore. So I'm tired of writing everybody's promos and then everybody pretending that I'm the backup dancer. It's not gonna happen.
Ooh, so people out here Milli Vanilli in it.
Yeah, so like I'm not finna. We did the hit row song. I wrote the song. We recorded it in my house. I engineered it. My producer made the beat. I mastered the song. We did all that in my house. There's plaques on my wall right here. Like this is not a game to me.
This was ugly. This was absolutely ugly. The great, looking like the Great Gazoo over here, man. You're looking like the Great Gazoo. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Can we cancel this and say, just pull out the damn tag rope? Just pull out the damn thing. Oh, they love it. They love this crap. We get it. We get it. The other. We all do. We reeled it in. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong there. We haven't gotten there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We're getting there. A throne of lies, sir. I hear you, Laspada. And I know, Vince. I know you. She's timeless. I'm at a loss for words with all this flocking around.
They shared.
Wowzers.
So I had it when I was texting back.
That was the Mike Knox Show. First, that was a Mike Knox Show with AJ Francis, formerly known as Top Dollar. That was a really good interview. Make sure you guys go and check that out. He had a lot of good insight. And one of my favorite things about AJ Francis was the fact that he was hosting A&E's WWE National Treasures. That's probably one of my favorite in-ring wrestling shows, to go back and just watch WWE stars find their old gear, that literally moments that stick in our heads and live in through time. they're just like, oh yeah, I gave it away to some school, and I'm like, wait, what? Like Kurt Angle's Shield, his Shield Team Angle gear that he had. He said he only wore it for about 6 months, and then he just gave it to some school in Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. And he's just like, yeah, I don't even know where it's at anymore. I don't even have any of my gear. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah,
I mean, but
that makes
of
sense.
course you don't know that you're in a moment once you're in a moment until that moment continues to be one of the most remembered things. And then we had the AEW review show with Dan the Man, Vinny, and Bad Guy Jack was filling in there. Always good to see that brother on the screen, other than Tuesdays on NXT. Now, so G says that they're starting at 7 p.m. for Mania. So that I like this. This is a good thing. A lot of people are saying, Paul Heyman talking to Braun Breaker a few weeks ago. It's got to be about 2 months ago now on NXT.
Wait a minute, man. He doesn't need Paul Heyman. He's got Baron Corbin. Corbin is great on the mic.
Corbin is very good on the mic. He's very underrated. Corbin is taking a Dolph Ziggler approach to things right now. He's real. I think that Corbin is enjoying his spot at NXT. I think that he's enjoying giving back. You can tell that he's having some of the most fun of his career. And I think that him and Braun Breaker being on the screen at the same time, they are really, really a really good pairing. Not all like one of my biggest gripes is WWE does odd pairing couples, and sometimes it's forced, but I think that those two genuinely like each other, so they're able to play off each other really, really well. My only question is, if Braun comes up, does Corbin stay down with the NXT? What happens?
This is very curious booking, because you would have think he would have dropped the title, or they would have kept the title off of him, and this whole thing. They made this whole Braun Breaker signage really a big deal, but then you go on Tuesday, and then they're together like nothing has changed, and they're fighting tag team matches like like nothing is changing. So I think, because the other thing is that they're intertwining the shows a lot. I go back to Becky's time as NXT champion, and then all of a sudden she's, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think they're doing a much better job of giving people the rub, because I guarantee that Lyra Valkyria would not be as big as she is now if not for Becky Lynch. So I think that if Braun Breaker comes out with Baron Corbin, and then Baron Corbin does a bunch of shit talking for him, it would be amazing. Because I don't think I don't think Paul Heyman is the guy for him, at least not now. If anybody needs Paul Heyman, Shayna Baszler.
Yeah. I just don't think that not just because you're a Paul Heyman guy doesn't mean you're going to get over, i.e. Curtis Axel, which he should have got all the way the hell over. Curtis Axel, he had the look, he had the family pedigree, he had everything going for him.
I'll tell you one thing though. Before Hulk Hogan fucked up, Axelmania was running wild.
Axelmania.
Hogan fucked that up for him, bro. Axelmania was running wild, bro. That shit was official. That shit was so over until Hogan fucked that up for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Curtis Axel should have been a star. Actually, fun fact about Curtis Axel, if you guys don't know, when Rock was doing a lot of his comebacks, his favorite person to wrestle and spar with in the ring is Curtis Axel. Those guys are really good friends. And so if you're wondering how Curtis Axel still had a spot in WWE, it's because of The Rock. Axel never got eliminated from the Rumble. Ryback worse.
That was Will too, because I think that's when Nia Jax came out into the men's Rumble. No, I think so.
Ryback is the worst Paul Heyman guy ever. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. I absolutely despise that man. I don't hate people, but he literally makes me feel like whatever's close to hate, I'm right there teetering. But going to this Braun Breaker match, right?
I mean, it's just sad.
First of all, the way they treated Zion Lee, right, or Zion Quinn. I'm sorry, it's not Zion Lee. Zion Quinn, right? That's not the one. This is not the first time that we've seen Zion Quinn. If a lot of people don't remember, he was drafted. He was drafted to Monday Night Raw. He had a look. He's a big guy. He's just as big as Roman Reigns, actually. He has a good physique about him that makes him look like a big deal, right? And then Braun Breaker spears him, in which I'm going to say hashtag give a good dog damn. Mike Knox says that Braun Breaker has the best spear in the business today. I'm going to say that again. Mike Knox says that Braun Breaker has the best spear in the business today. I don't know how you judge a spear, but I'm going to say big cap in the chat and hashtag give a good dog damn. I personally think that it's Bobby Lashley. His spear is fire. He does a little spin with it. If a man that big is coming at you full body, shoulder, you don't need to grab. He doesn't need to grab you. And I think that's the genius of his spear. But there's not many spear users anymore. I think Roman's spear is pretty strong. I thought Edge's spear was great back in the day. Not so much now. I'm good on his spears now. We can pass that up, right? Like we don't care about that type of spear.
The spear is starting to seem like a kick.
Yeah, no, he seems like he might as well give them a pillow and lay them down. But Braun's spear is really fearsome, almost gore-like. So I will give you that. He does give you a very gore-like spear. Gore-like, I'm gonna say gore-like combat. I mean gore-like compact. Compact? Yeah, compact. But Goldberg's spear-like technique, right? Like when Goldberg first did the spear, it actually was just a football tackle. Like it actually just was a football tackle, right? And he takes that aspect along with his impact to the opponent, and it does make for a really good spear. I just think that Bobby Lashley is a little bit smoother, a little bit cooler, and he's got the power that he doesn't need to grab him. But they literally made Zion Quinn look like a jobber. It sucks, but I don't understand why make Braun Breaker look like a big deal in the Royal Rumble and then feed a jobber to him. No, he's a big deal, right? Like he was a big deal when he came in the Rumble. So at that point, you are surpassed. You are above any jobber, right? And you elect Zion Quinn to be the jobber for Braun Breaker.
That's exactly what they should have done with Tiffany Stratton earlier in the night. They did it with Braun Breaker, and it was super quick. I mean, well, I get it because the other guy's not a top guy yet, so they just took the L really quick, and that match was probably cut really short as well because of the Rock in the beginning. So, and they made him look strong, but that shit to me was a Goldberg match.
True, but
that right there was definitely a Goldberg match. It reminded me of the Mike Tyson fights, like you know what I mean. That was just.
That's true, but to make it like just to make it like Zion Quinn is a nobody, I thought that was just pretty. I just thought that was pretty wrong. Maybe I mean I'm not a huge fan of Zion Quinn. I think he has a good look. There's not enough about him. Even on NXT, I just thought when he came on my screen, I'm just like he's got a nice look, but his character just doesn't do it for me. But very impressive for Braun Breaker to get that TV time and do that. So we're down to the last two matches of the night. In between that, we still see LA Knight is still searching for AJ Styles, which is hilarious to me.
Clearly, so I don't know why you running around.
Yeah, he runs into Nick Aldis, and Aldis says that he won't find AJ because he told AJ to stay home for the night. But they're going to schedule that, so we're going to get the rumored match of AJ Styles versus LA Knight, which some think that it's going to steal the show. I have to. It pains me because now I have to separate my hatred for Mr. L.A. Knight. Yeah. And it's not even the sense of I hate L.A. Knight because I actually was an Eli Drake fan. I just hate the fact that, fans clamoring for L.A. Knight have made me hate L.A. Knight. Because just because a guy's got a good punchline doesn't mean that he's a good wrestler in the ring. If anybody in the chat, and I'm going to continue to do this every show that I do when we're talking about LA Knight, anybody in the chat, give me 3 good LA Knight matches. 3 good LA Knight matches, one-on-one. 3 good LA Knight matches since he's been on the main roster as LA Knight and not Max Dupree. Yeah, I'll wait for that because we'll be waiting all night. But I do think that this match would have the potential to steal the show. If not, Jay versus Jimmy will steal the show. I think this is the first time these guys have faced off. It'll be the first time in since TNA. So that's why if they do happen to make this match, I think that it'll be one of the things that steals the show for them. Moving along, we got Carlito versus Santos Escobar and the feud that nobody wants to continue to watch at any point in time. But I will say that Carlito hasn't had a bad showing. But I will say this graphic that they got of Carlito, boy, that boy getting old now. I mean, like he's in his look at the side of his head. He getting old. He getting old. He getting that salt and pepper sprinkled up in there. But this match, I thought this match was a really good match. I'm like Santos Escobar is one of my favorite mid-card heels. I think he's probably the best mid-card heel in WWE right now, off the top of my head. But Santos, you can tell that he loves wrestling. He loves the lucha libre style of wrestling, and he puts that in his style. But he also sprinkles in a lot of showmanship, a lot of bragging, a lot of just trash talking his opponent, and just doing the stuff that makes you get under his skin. And for Carlito to actually come back and do the job for the likes of Santos Escobar, which he really doesn't have to, right? But like I think that Carlito's just happy to be there. And which is fine. He gets to work with, one of his idols in Rey Mysterio. He gets to work with a young upstart in Santos Escobar. And that's really what this story is more so about is the passing of the torch from the Lucha Libres of yesterday till today, in which Santos is that guy above anybody else in this storyline. Humberto and Carrero are really good. They got those guys will potentially be tag champs one day once they split the belts up because they're not going to be undisputed tag champs. And then the other guys, I can't never remember the other guys from LWO. Those guys, they'll be gone in 8 months. But this is a really good match. But this match was all more so about Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio comes back. He's pulling that Hangman Adam Page with the crutches. He's looking a little bit older now because his beard no longer has salt and pepper in it. It is straight salt. It is straight silver. That man is looking old as hell. He needs some Just for Men. I'm telling you, I got some salt and pepper sprinkled in my hair right now. I either got to shave the head or I got to get some Just for Men. I can't salt and pepper it up. I'm not even 40 yet. I'm not gonna salt and pepper it up. But I think that what we're gonna get at Mania, possibly pre-show matches, LWO versus Legado del Fantasma. or Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild. Yes, that's the name. Thank you, G. I can never remember those two guys. It's one of those guys that I actually really do like, and I think he has star power, but he's not with Santos and Humberto and Carrillo. He has no spot on the roster as long as those guys. I will say that Santos, I'm sorry, he does not need Juvie in his corner. Hooven dude, as Rock likes to call him, Hooven dude Guerrero. Santos doesn't need Hoovy. He don't need Hoovy. But Hoovy is like one of those banned guys from WWE. He will never. The last time we saw Hoovy in WWE, he was on them Juan Deers. So he will not. He will not be there. But your thoughts, Vic, on Carlito versus Santos Escobar with Rey Mysterio returning?
Well, Carlitos, Santos Escobar is Tiffany Stratton right now. And he's had a lot of lineage. His, Legado del Fantasma is a homage to his father, who was a lucha libre wrestler and all of that. So, especially when they go to areas that are close to the border, they always do this big Spanish thing. Because, there's a lot of Mexicans, a lot of people over there, a lot of the flags and a lot of that going on. You know what I mean? So, and the reason I realized that is because Carlito's Puerto Rican, but he was wearing the Mexican LWO shirt, right? Mm-hmm. Anywhere he goes, anywhere else, he's always wearing like something that's Puerto Rican. Just like Damian Priest. Like Puerto Ricans do that. Like they wear the flag everywhere. So the fact that Carlito didn't do that this time is because it was a pro-Mexican thing. So. And then for them to have Rey Mysterio come back out at that time and that place made perfect sense. I see Rey Mysterio fighting Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio having another match with one of his kids. You know what I mean? And taking care of business. I think that Rey Mysterio not coloring his beard is reminding everybody that he is a WWE Hall of Famer that is still on the active roster. So that's a testament to him. I think the other person that should be a Hall of Famer is Bobby Lashley on the active roster. But I think that making him look old was on purpose. He is old, but I really think that the gray hairs were on purpose, and they're gonna push this like old versus young thing, and then Rey Mysterio will beat him and have his time in the sunset. You know what I mean? That's what I think.
And shout out to you, G, for noticing that, because like I said, I was in a party with Mike watching this, and he pointed out that it was a Muta mask as well. From the back of the mask, I thought it was Black Panther because he has done Black Panther before as well. But when the camera cut to the front side, I'm like, oh, okay, that's actually very reminiscent to the last, if I'm not mistaken, it's the last time that we saw Muta in AEW. That's very similar to the mask that Muta wore. So I thought that was a pretty dope shot. When it's all said and done, Mysterio probably is going to have the greatest lineup of mask ever. And it won't even be close.
Now, the funny thing is that's the only mask that's really recognizable, unless you're a hardcore wrestling fan.
Yeah.
But they have Rey Mysterio masks of like the freaking the Red Sox and Fanatics. You know what I mean? Like they have all these different Rey Mysterio masks with different brands, and it's always that same form. So yeah, this guy's capitalizing more than anybody in the wrestling business. Smart guy.
I think that this is more so a 6-person tag. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. But I think that Carlito has done enough in the past year to warrant him some sort of spot on the Mania card, whether it's a pre-show or not. He'll still get a check. I think Santos has done enough to make sure that he gets on there. The problem is, will WWE overdo it if they do make this a 6-person tag? We'll probably get another multi-man match for the Intercontinental Championship. We'll probably get another multi-man match for the tag team championships. So that's already 3 multi-person championships. Oh, we'll probably get a multi-person championship match for the United States Championship. So that's now 4 that we have. So 2 a night, which could possibly be it could be okay. I don't know. I mean, like, even breaking it down, like we spoke about the women's matches, right? And with the rumors of the women's matches, just based off of we know we got 2 confirmed, but based off of the rumored matches, that's now 4 women's matches. That's 4 multi-person matches, 2 multi-person matches for the titles of IC and United States. But we always know that we had, and then we possibly got AJ Styles in LA Knight, and then we got brother versus brother and Jay and Jimmy. But there still has to be that attraction match. That's just a pure attraction wrestling match. And is that LA and AJ, or is that Jay and Jimmy? Because after that, it's literally just Cody and them. So it's I don't know. Based off of the soliloquy off the top of my head that I just remembered, right? It's not too much that I think that's really interesting right now, because I need to see it. I need to see the graphics. I need to see how you take me there, right? Yeah, they've not had anybody. I don't think that they're going to do it this year. I really don't think they're going to do it. Unless they're going to start announcing people on Monday, I don't see them having one. And I think that's what this WWE house thing is about to do, is take the place of the Hall of Fame for this year. I think that what the rumors are of WWE house, I think it's the preview of what they want the WWE museum or whatever to be in. I don't know where. I think it's Connecticut. Whatever they've been gathering all of the most wanted treasures, whatever they've been doing that for. I think that's going to be a preview of WWE House. So I think that probably takes away from the Hall of Fame this year. The Hall of Fame is usually like Friday, right? And there's no tickets for it posted anywhere, which is usually after SmackDown. So whoever goes to that SmackDown will be pretty much there. But I just don't see it happening. What's that?
I think it's going to be at that SmackDown. They'll probably mix the shows together. Do something. But then at the same, I personally think that they did away with the Hall of Fame to avoid talking about Vince McMahon. Because the thing is that everybody always has a speech about Vince, about what happened with Vince, and this and that in the past with Vince. And that takes me back to the DX Hall of Fame, where they had this whole thing about how they don't want Vince McMahon and they were messing with Vince McMahon. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people mentioned Vince because, it's the business. But this is what I think. I think that they just eliminated the Hall of Fame so that nobody mentions Vince McMahon at all.
Ooh, that's smart. I didn't even think about that. Wow, I definitely did not think about that. So we got one last thing before we get into this, and we'll sign off. We got about 10 minutes left in the show. Got Randy Orton versus Austin Theory. And right before we get into that, we're going to take our last break. We're going to have a discussion about this match and what we think is coming up on Monday Night Raw. Last break of the night, ladies and gentlemen. of the night. Damn, it's midday. Sun's about to come out. It's been raining all day. Y'all watching the Smackdown review show. Stay tuned. We got 10 minutes left, y'all. Hang in with us.
Does this? He hugs the Rock. He's smiling, and he looks all sad. But the people in Birmingham, Alabama, were happy as fuck to see Rock out. Nobody gave a fuck about Cody leaving the ring looking all sad. But the people at home, because they're on Twitter, they're watching at home, and they can see the camera zoomed in on Cody's little sad ass bitch ass face, right? With their chicken nuggets. Well, then they get online like, I'm hot. I'm pissed that they did this shit.
What are we supposed to do with the chicken nuggets?
Stick up your ass.
Nobody to be able to call their shots the way that Roman Reigns had. Not even Hollywood Hogan was doing this ish, right? And not even Hogan did this, right? Like, not even Hogan was able to be like, I'm calling the shots, brother. Like, no, like, in a sense he did, but it was all Bischoff. So it really wasn't. And you can't say that it was Paul Heyman. It's literally Roman Reigns telling you who he's going to face, when he's going to face him, why he's going to face him. Hogan wasn't doing this, right? And like, I as much as I love the NWO, right? I have a legitimate argument that the Bloodline, storyline wise, is arguably the greatest faction. However, if we're talking about literally the greatest faction of accolades, it goes to the main event mafia all day, every day. We know this. We know this.
I think influential in pop culture is this, in my opinion. I think the most influential faction of all time as far as wrestling is this. I think the hottest faction of all time is this. I think the greatest faction of all time in terms of storyline is this, because they've been going on for 4 years and they've always found a caveat to draw you in a thrall. Have they had some bumps up and down? Yeah. But when they hot, they are hot, right? Breaking records and all that stuff. And then the main event mafia, just the greatest.
You know what? That's the next. That is great. That is a great. First of all, what mark are we at? We are at the 56-minute mark, so it's more like 54. That is a clip. Yeah, I just posted the clip now, and that is the next episode of debates. How would you rank those 5 factions in the history of professional wrestling? Jesus, you just did the work. Good to me. You just did the work. You just did. Now we just need 2 victims. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was myself and EC reviewing the Elimination Chamber. We just happened to segue into a greatest factions of all time debate, in which we are putting that debate together very soon. It won't be this Thursday, because this Thursday we have a
greatest faction
very, very dear to my heart, a Sting tribute show. It is our top 5 Sting tribute show. Although I will tell you, I have way more than 5 Sting moments or matches that are near and dear to my heart. We will dive into it, discuss it. We will have a round table of some of your favorite personalities from UPR. We will be talking about Surfer Sting. We're talking about Crow Sting, TNA Sting, Joker Sting, AEW Sting. We're going to go through this man's career, who was my favorite, my GOAT of all time. If there is a Undertaker constant for WWE, the constant for WCW and all of professional wrestling is the great Steve Sting Borden, who is just my favorite of all time. He's my GOAT, period. He did it the right way. He redeemed himself, very Shawn Michaels-esque, when he was an asshole and he became a born-again Christian, and he lives very, very strongly off of his faith. And something about that, you have to admire a man like that. But getting into this last match of the evening on SmackDown last night, and it was Orton versus Theory, which came across because Grayson Waller and Austin Theory were watching playbacks of Logan Paul punching Orton over and over to get Drew McIntyre the W for Elimination Chamber. They thought it was funny. They don't see Orton behind them, and Orton basically tells them, what's funny is, I'm going to be kicking one of y'all asses. So who's going to be volunteering to get that?
Sure.
And so Theory gets thrown under the bus once again by Grayson Waller. We get Kevin Owens on commentary, and I am very, very much over Kevin Owens being the chaser of Logan Paul. I don't know if we've ever had anybody in the chat. Could you let me know if we've ever had a Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens match? If they can somehow get us there, I would be fine for a Orton Owens Logan Paul triple threat.
Mm-hmm.
I would more so like the Orton versus Owens for the title, but Logan Paul is a big deal, and this is a big WrestleMania, so he's going to be kept looking like money. Just think of the YouTube hits it's going to get because Logan Paul is on WrestleMania 40. So I think that this is the story within the main event had so many moving pieces, right? It's a friendship between Theory and Waller that's kind of deteriorating because Theory is taking advantage. Well, Waller is taking advantage of Theory. He keeps throwing him in situations, and this is like the third week in a row. We got Owens he's still chasing Logan Paul. We got Orton that's trying to still continue his run of success to make himself look strong and get in that picture of United States champion. He would be a 2-time United States champion if he does win. I think that this match, it was okay. It wasn't, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, to have the bloodline go for 40 minutes on the microphone, it was a little spicy. But I will say that I enjoyed it very, very much. This SmackDown was one of the most enjoyable SmackDowns. I thought the main event was fine. The only gripe that I have with this episode of SmackDown, I got no Bobby Lashley, I got no Street Profits, I got no AJ Styles. They kept AJ Styles' name out there, and that's fine. But we had no mentioning of Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, no mentioning of the Final Testament. I think that is a problem. Those guys are in deep, deep trouble right now as far as the WrestleMania card goes. They will be subject to a battle royal and a pre-show if that's going to happen. Your thoughts on the main event and overall show of SmackDown last night?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people wanted Randy Orton to get some kind of revenge, and it looks like that's the direction that they're going. I think that Randy Orton versus Logan Paul can definitely be a really good match. But like you said, if they add Kevin Owens into it, those three could definitely do something. Kevin Owens got the mic skills. Randy Orton got the mic skills. Like, they can do amazing promos against each other, like all three of them. So if they do that, it's definitely going to seem like an interesting match. As of right now, what I see is a Logan Paul versus Randy Orton for the title. But if they do that, then Logan Paul can win, and they can keep Randy looking strong somehow, or just play into the whole thing with his back and this and that. You know what I mean? Because whether it's true or not, he's definitely playing into the whole thing with his back and like him being old and whatever. So, and I just find it interesting because I just remember him RKOing like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and Mick Foley and being the legend killer, and now he's the legend. But
I wanted to focus on this. Bad Guy Jack, you are absolutely right. I did just Google that. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton had a match in 2020 on Monday Night Raw. February 24th, 2020, Monday Night Raw is about a 14-minute match. I do not remember that, but I guarantee if you ask Executive Consultant, he will remember it. He will remember what they were selling in the stadium as snacks and the price. That man is an encyclopedia. But you're right, G. Every time he does a backdrop, but at the same time, the man has already stated that he has multiple steel plates at his back, right? That hold his back structured. And so at that point, when I see it, I cringe. But then when I think about what he's already said, I don't think that he will put himself in a predicament where he would further injure himself, or so I think that Orton feels like he can do anything and everything that he used to do, period. And that's including the chamber. I think when you take those type of bumps or those type of risks, it's not it's a sheer term of endearment, right? It's hey, don't worry, I got this, I'm good, right? Like it's like when Paige came back to wrestle at AEW and she took like a neck breaker from Britt Baker, who gives a really stiff neck breaker, right? And she laid there and took it. And I think when you take a move that people don't expect you to take, I think that's you telling them, don't worry, I'm okay. Same thing with Edge. When he came back from his neck, they have to call the matches. So he's got to tell people like, hey, yeah, you could do this. I'm fine with this, right? So I think that in that case, Orton is definitely. I think that he's okay. I think that he's fine. Yeah, you know what, the botch that they almost had, where Orton slipped trying to get the superplex, and Austin knew that he slipped and he just jumped over and he fell back. He fell back and made it a suplex. It looked like Austin took more of the suplex than Randy gave, but it was still a really good match. I mean, it was still a really good move you saved each other. And it didn't look too crazy. It didn't look too crazy when they did it. So I thought that was a really good spot in that match. Oh yeah, Randy, I forgot. There's a graphic. I have to find it. Of the different levels of Orton. And they had the Legend Killer, and then on the flip side they had the Killer Legend. I gotta find that. I gotta find that graphic for you, Bad Guy Jack, and put it in the chat. Because I thought that was a pretty dope thing that they had. That's when he was going through Christian and Big Show and Ric Flair, all just so he can get to Edge. I thought that was pretty dope. Theory is selling the stunner like he's the Rock. He can definitely sell the stunner, but nobody sells a stunner quite like the Rock. Yeah, as we close out, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of y'all in the chat for your comments, for your views, for your sharing. You guys have been dope once again. Vic, thank you for staying here with me. It's been a dope show. Listen, an hour and a half of pure raw conversation. Shout out to everybody for thoughts, opinions, likes, dislikes. We will be here next week. Coming up on the I think we have we got AEW tomorrow, AEW Revolution tomorrow, Sting's final match. I will be watching that. I'm not sure when the review show will be, but it will be in the coming days after that. Then on Monday, you got the Mike Knox show at 6 p.m. Tuesday, you got NXT with Bad Guy Jack and Wrestling Doll. Wednesday, you got the AEW review show. Thursday, you got me hosting the Top 5 Sting tribute show. And then Friday, I don't know what's on Friday, but something's on Friday. And then Saturday, get us again. So it's going to be a jam-packed weekend. The road to WrestleMania still continues. I am your host, Z is Silent. That is Vic. We are that team. We are those guys. So, in the words of Shannon Sharp, yeah, I like chocolate. Yeah, I like fried chicken. But if I got the fried chicken, I need the chocolate for? And if somebody tell you they don't like you, you tell them you don't give a good dog damn. And the almighty Dice Man told you. And as always, we want to live, laugh, love, live hard, love often, drink, be merry. Rest in peace to Jay Briscoe and reach for the sky, boy.